Football isn't the only game in town. Basketball is
Say it ain't
picking
so.
up steam, and I have to eat my words. Matter of fact, I'm going to just take my size 13 off right now, put a little hot sauce on it, and I'm just going to I got on some Asics right now. I have on my running shoes. I'm just going to eat these Asics up because you mentioned A&T basketball a couple of weeks ago, and I just giggled, like sophomoric humor, just really throwing some side shade at A&T, who only won 3 games last year. And I don't even
Right.
remember what you said, but just the mere mention of A&T basketball, and I just gave everyone the old snicker, like, ha, 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 ha. And
You did.
man, I got to eat that, brother, because A&T is for real. They had a win over East Carolina on Sunday. Now, look, East Carolina is
Mm-hmm.
not a powerhouse, but here's how I would describe it. East Carolina is a team that is not going to play at an HBCU. They will play in
Mm-hmm.
HBCU, but their status, I call them the keeper of the middle ground, is such
Right.
that you got to come to them and you got to play on their terms. And the most instances they win those games against HBCUs. I went to the Central East Carolina game last year and Central
Right.
lost. A good
Right.
Central team lost. They had to deal with a
Right.
lot. They had to deal with a lot that day going on with the death and the funeral of their chancellor. But still, they were a good basketball team. They lost that game. So for A&T to travel down there and win, does that mean they're going to be a Sweet 16 team this year? Probably not. But it does show that hey, they're doing things that don't usually happen. And as far as the MEAC goes, it's still very early, but I got to say that they got the nation's leading scorer, and when you start to think about who's going to be there at the end of the year, for right now, you got to put A&T as one of those teams.
Yeah, got a chance to see them last week against a NAIA team from Elizabeth City, Mid-Atlantic Christian, I believe. And so it wasn't the toughest competition, but those guys, they came out with a win. You talk about Simi, the leading scorer in the NCAA, up until that point, putting in 30 points a game, an Oakland transfer. Coach Joyner has taken that program, and last year was his first full year as head coach. He took over for Ty Alexander at the end of the 2015-16 season. And so last year was tough. They had a couple guys that were sitting out, and so they struggled really heavily. But this year they've come out and they're starting to, Coach Jordan is starting to leave his mark there at A&T, and they're excited about it. I mean, it's a really a great time to be in Greensboro right now around sports. You got the football team unbeaten, headed to the Celebration Bowl, and then you got now you got the basketball team making noise. So it's a really exciting time for them there at North Carolina A&T.